everybody, happy Friday. It's time for my review, and I actually have the review that I promised you that I would have, which is so nice because I was a little afraid I wasn't going to get these finished on time. But today I'm going to review the McKettricks of Texas Trilogy by Linda Lael Miller. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And I kind of lied to you a little bit by accident. I didn't mean to, I promise, but at the end of my last video last Friday, I think I said that it was a kind of a fluff romance novel, but it wasn't as bad as Harlequin. Well, sorry, it's published by Harlequin. I didn't realize that at the time, but obviously they're pretty substantial, thicker books. I mean, it's not like they're the little like thin Harlequin ones is the ones I was thinking of. You know, the ones with the white covers with the little diamond and the, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But so this series by Linda Lael Miller is about three brothers, Tate, Garrett, and Austin. And Tate, Garrett, and Austin, their parents died about 10 years before the books take place. And they're a year apart. They're 28, 29, and 30. And they inherited a ranch from their parents, and their parents died in a car accident. So they kind of run the ranch together. They own equal parts, I guess I should say. At the beginning, they don't run the ranch together. And they fall in love consecutively with the Remington sisters, who are Libby, Julie, and Paige. So, in the first book, Tate is the first book. Tate is the oldest brother, and Libby is the oldest sister. And Tate and Libby were high school sweethearts, and they end up, I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember exactly why they end up breaking up, but anyway, they meet again. Tate has been, I think they broke up because Libby went off to college, but then she ended up having to come back to college because her dad ended up getting really sick and dying. And also the sisters, their father has passed away shortly after the brothers' parents did, I think, or around the same time. And their mother also was like a crazy, like, loony, and left them when they were really little. So, and it's sort of been in their lives since then, but so they don't really have anybody except for each other. But anyway, Tate and Libby were high school sweethearts. Tate ends up, he married somebody else. He had twin girls, Ava and Audrey, and then they ended up getting divorced. And then, so he's a single father, basically. They share custody, but, whatever. And, spoiler alert, okay, I usually don't like to tell the end of stories or how stories end up, but, I mean, it's a romance novel. You know what's gonna happen. As soon as handsome cowboy Tate walks into that coffee shop that Libby owns, and they, like, make eye contact, they're gonna fall back in love. I mean, come on. Seriously, how stupid do they think we are? They fall back in love. They live happily ever after. That's what happens there. That's the short, the short and long of it. I'm sorry, my dog is, like, insane this morning. I don't know what his problem is. Alright, and then the second book is Garrett and Julie. And Garrett and Julie are the second oldest. And, oh, by the way, Tate is the one who, like, lives on the ranch full-time and runs the ranch. So, Garrett went to law school and is a politician. He is he's like an assistant or something for a, senator, I think. And then there's, like, this big scandal with the senator and his girlfriend. He leaves his wife for his, like, stripper girlfriend or something. And he ends up, so Garrett ends up quitting, or actually, he gets fired, I guess. He gets fired, and he comes back to the ranch, and he meets Julie, which Garrett and Julie have never had any previous, romantic relationship. And Julie has a 5-year-old son, a 4-year-old, he's 4 in this book, named Calvin, and Calvin's father has just sort of come back into the picture. He pretty much left when Calvin was a baby, and she hasn't heard from him since, and then all of a sudden she Actually, I think it's in the first book when she first hears from Gordon, who is... So anyway, she's going through a rough time. She's an English teacher and at the high school. So anyway, Garrett and Julie fall in love. Spoiler alert. So that's basically what happens there. I mean, obviously there's other stuff that happens, but... and then, Austin. Austin is a bull rider. Doesn't that sound bad and dangerous? He's the youngest one. And Paige is the youngest sister of the Remington sisters. And Paige, is a nurse. She's an RN. And she previously worked at a hospital like 2 hours away or an hour away or something. And she quit that job because she didn't like being so far away. And she's kind of in between jobs. And Austin and Paige were also high school sweethearts. But they broke up. They had a very bad breakup because Austin cheated on her. And they had a very volatile, very angry breakup. And they've actually, during the whole time that their brothers, his brothers and her sisters have been, you know, getting together and planning the wedding, they're having like this big double wedding and blah blah blah, they've been really trying to avoid each other. And then Austin, I think it's in the first book actually, Austin gets really hurt while he's riding a bull. He gets really, really seriously injured and is in the hospital for a really long time. Then in the third book, he rides that same bull again because he has to prove that he can do it because he's a man. You know how that goes. And I just hit myself in the face with the book. Just ignore that. I'm sorry. I'm tired. It's very early. It's very late for me. It's like 8:30 in the morning, but I work overnight, so I'm doing this when I should be in bed already, but it's whatever. Okay. Sleep deprived. Austin rides the same bull again. And he thinks he's fine, and he ends up doing something to his back. He herniates a disc, I think. And then there's a whole other stuff that happens. But anyway, so Paige gets hired as his nurse to take care of him, and sparks fly, and spoiler alert, they fall in love. So one thing that I like about this series is that, you know, you continue to see, the whole series takes place, like, pretty consecutively. It's over, like, the first one is in the summer, and then this one is, like, in the late summer to early fall, and then this one is, like, you know, in the fall going into winter. So they take place pretty close together. And you continue to see the same characters. You know, like in the first one, actually Austin and Paige's kind of story sort of starts at the end of this one, and then, at least you know it's going to, because Paige and Austin, like every time they see each other, they both get all upset, and they're like, oh my god, it's Austin, I can't see him right now, and you know. So, yeah, you kind of continue to see throughout the second two, you continue to see, you know, the characters you met in the first book, and also, you know, there's other things that go on, you know, it's not all just the raunchy sex. I was reading one of these, and my fiance's like, oh, you're reading one of those dirty sex books. I'm like, it's not just a dirty sex book. Okay, yeah, there's some pretty explicit scenes in there. It's like porn in written form. But, you know, there's other stories that go on. You know, there's some cattle rustling that goes on in this book and then sort of into this book, and there's some shifty people from from the father's past that come back, and in this one, their crazy loon of a mother comes back and runs over a building, and there's other stuff that goes on. So I liked them. I mean, obviously, you know, this is not great literature. The writing is not the best in the world. The plot line is, you know, not terribly well developed, but whatever. It's not the worst thing I've ever read. I enjoyed it. I think Austin and Paige's story was my favorite, just because I feel like, I mean, like, Garrett and Julie, by the way, they met, and 2 days later they were having sex, and then, like, 2 days after that, he proposed. Like, that's it. Like, there was no conflict, there was no, like, I mean, there was, but it wasn't Didn't take her a whole lot to get over her doubts about Garrett. Okay, I like a little, well, like in this one, you know, I like a little back and forth, a little, like, you know, conflict, and sometimes I feel like the more opposite two people are, the better the love story is when they finally get together. Does anybody else feel like that? Because I like books like that. So I feel like they were and plus this is sort of the culmination of everything. It's kind of, I don't know, I like this one better. There's more drama that goes on, I think. Maybe that's why I like it. But, so that's and they also have a whole, there's a whole bunch of books too from, like that take place before this one. There's the McKettricks Choice, McKettricks Luck, McKettricks Pride. I don't know what they're all about exactly, but I think a lot of them are from like their parents and their grandparents and people who settled the ranch, like, you know, a long time ago. The one issue I have with these books, which is really a silly issue, but look at the cover of this. Does this guy look 28 to you? Does this guy look 30 to you? Maybe I'm just crazy, but I think these guys, they're supposed to be 20, he's supposed to be 20, he's supposed to be 30. Austin is supposed to be 28, and he's supposed to be 29. Does that look correct to you? Because it doesn't to me. These guys look like they're more like 38, 39, and 40. Like 10 years wrong on the models there, people. But maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. They look a little younger in the picture on the back, but I don't know. Anyway, maybe the lighting accentuates their wrinkles or something. I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna go to sleep now because I need to stop talking. But yeah, good series. Not the best, you know. I mean, this took me like altogether. I had read Tate previously, but these two took me like 5 days altogether to read both of them. So I mean, not great literature, not great thought-provoking, like, you know. But if you just want a good love story, I recommend them. So I will see you next Friday. I am going to be, I believe, reviewing. I'm not going to make any promises because I'm reading it on my Kindle, so I'm not actually sure how long the book is, but I don't think it's that long. I think it's a pretty short book, but it's Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, which he was famous for, like Tess of the D'Urbervilles. It's a classic, and it's on my 1001 books to read before you die, so that's why I'm reading it, honestly. But I just started that today, so I'm hoping I'll be able to finish it by then. I have I'm almost done with my classes and stuff. I have 2 final exams to finish up this weekend, and then next week I will be all done with school for a week anyway, so I should be able to get some reading done, so I should be able to finish it. But I also have a bonus video, which I'm actually going to film after I'm done with this. So actually, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm going to film another video. I have a bonus used book haul, so I'll probably upload that tomorrow or the next day. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you in a couple days, but then I'll see you next Friday, for real. Bye-bye, everybody.